Hello and welcome to special coverage streaming live from In the Money Media. This is our Haskell Pick 4 All Stakes Haskell Preview Day Pick 4 show. We are acting as a lead-in. Our friends from America's Best Racing who are live at Monmouth Park will be going from 4:45 to 6:45, covering all four of those stakes. But we'll talk about those. We'll talk about some live races that happened during this hour from both Monmouth and from Belmont at the Big A. Might even bring in a live guest from Monmouth at some point. And I'm your host, Peter Thomas Fornital, here once again with the man who's the usual co-host on all the stuff we do over here on YouTube. He's Jonathan Kinchin. JK, how's your Saturday?
So far, so good. Went down to the Chelsea market today. Had some tacos, some oysters. Austin's enjoying himself so far. Everything's good.
That's good. I like to hear that. Is he? What does he do when you're in the midst of your racing in the middle of the afternoon, like you are right now? What is a typical activity for him?
Well, we were playing Madden together, so I played the first half, and I was up 30 to 21, and hopefully he's not in there blowing it as we speak.
That's amazing. You mentioned you've gotten back in the coaching game just a little bit. Tell me about that and how that's been going on.
Well, it was like a little 7-on-7 league. So when I was coaching, 7-on-7 was a big part of, kind of our off-season training. And so it's a club that I have in my bag. And so going from 6th to 7th grade, Austin's going to be playing tackle football for the first time. And I wasn't going to allow I'm going to be honest, some idiot dad who thinks he's playing Madden trying to coach, them. So I flew down 4 Mondays in a row to coach. And so, it was fun. It was fun. It's funny is like, it's that age where they're 6th to 7th grade, but they're not sure that they even want to play football. Some of them. So I had a couple of those kids, and then they obviously want you to throw them the ball, but they don't even know where to line up. So that's definitely not going to happen.
That's a problem.
It was fun.
We have a race coming up straight away at Monmouth Park, their 7th race on the day. Should we take a quick look at that just for laughs?
Yeah, let me scroll through here. Let's see, the 7th. Hold on, getting there.
Belmont, we've gotten very chalky at Belmont these last 2 races, though. Nearly a heart attack result in that last one. We'll cover a little Belmont, too, with Belmont and Monmouth being partners now. There is, I think it might start, I should know this, maybe in the next race at Monmouth, or maybe it's the first of the stakes, not all stakes, but the cross country pick 5. It's been Monmouth and Aqueduct consistently, which has been really, really cool. So we'll talk and show a little bit of Belmont as well. But we did have that horse that we had talked about on the show, JK Mentee, grimly hang on and get the job done. That City of Light barely holding off of the Vekoma in there. The Vekomas have been off to a really good start. Was yapping with our friend Larry Roman about that on his show this morning on our network. But yeah, the next live action, we're going to have the first live action on the show will be this race for Monmouth. You know what? While you look that over, AJ, who's producing for us, why don't I'll filibuster for a second, AJ, so you can get the right screen up. Let's take a look at the contest, because one of the things going on, and if you're not already in, it's too late, but very, very fun. Monmouth doing this $1 qualifier for their Haskell Day event. The top 5 finishers in a full card Monmouth Mythical Win Place contest today will win their entries into that. We might as well give some credit to the folks who are doing well. I mean, long way to go here with 6 left at Monmouth, but we'll still shout out the players who are doing well. And it's some unfamiliar names, which is good to see. Some new blood in there. Jerome Blackman, Michael Arena, who I've seen before, Juan Martinez, Jack Fricano, and William Miller right now. William, a name that I've seen. Also, Matthew Abbott, a little bit more familiar to me in the first runner-up spot right now. Andy Yankum, Daniel Mikovich, Marilyn Gallagher, and Gary Vogt rounding out the top 10. Oh, there's a familiar name. Haven't talked to John Camardo in ages, but a very talented horse player who comes to things from a computer model type of way. Anyway, horsetourneys.com, that's going on if you want to follow along with that leaderboard. Like I said, We're here for an hour, and then we're going to hand off to our friends at America's Best Racing, who are there live. What I think we should do, JK, is talk about this Monmouth race real quick, and then maybe we'll preview the stakes. We'll bring in some new blood. We did a whole show previewing these stakes, so folks who are regulars at In the Money Media have already heard us do that spiel. But if he's around, we'll reach out to our friend Double D, Darren DeLucia, and maybe get his thoughts real quick on that pick 4. And if you're watching, let's interact too. Hit us up. We've got Uncle Sully in the comments wishing everybody a happy Haskell Preview Day. Chris Couples, one of our regulars who writes for us regularly as well, points out that was narrowly a new track record at Aqueduct, which is kind of wild. Those might be, based on that anyway. I've been paying attention to the variant today or whatever, but based on that, might be a couple of very talented horses who are appearing there, and based on their bloodlines, that makes all the sense in the world. But what of this race at Monmouth, JK? We've got 0 minutes to post. Do you have anybody you're interested in putting up as a potential selection, or is it more a race to watch?
No, I mean, the 4 and the 13 both exit the same race where they were both kind of closing into the slow pace. The 13 ran a little bit better, but not 2-1 versus 7-1 better. I'll take the 4 graded on a curve, who was exiting that same race as the 13, who's the favorite here. And I don't think they ran that dissimilarly. So give me the 4 in here.
I like that. You surprised that the 13 is bet to that degree, that 2-1 level from that potentially tricky post. What's your read on that?
No, I mean, it's Paco. I mean, they bet Paco like crazy down there. And I will say this too, watching Monmouth, since they've been on the show a lot, they have some odds changes. And I think the reason that they're having some of those kind of late shifts is because I think there's people that are playing the fixed odds as well as the closing odds. So I think a lot of times people will, find positions. They might get a position early and find some overlays based on the position they already established, and they can kind of click a little bit late. They'll play a little bit late. And so I think that happens from time to time. So there can be some late odd shifts at Monmouth. And so I don't fall too in love with prices. I try to fall more in love with horses.
The interesting thing there is it's wonderful. You have the fixed odds right on the screen. So you can see that modeling out pretty much correctly. A little over 2-1 on the fixed odds is that 13 runner who's 9-5. And then the fixed price about 6.5-1 there on the 4, who's JK's selection as they start going to the gate there at Monmouth. It's a nice track. Were I not flying out tomorrow, JK, I would be down there enjoying what looks like a beautiful day on the Jersey Shore. Did you notice, by the way, your selection? You gave the winning selection on the show on Horse Player Happy Hour, and then your key horse 2 races later ended up crushing it for Matt Miller. We were sort of using his pool reading skills, his wagering skills, and he ended up using your horse on your say-so and hitting a pretty significant double. So he definitely owes you a beer the next time you see him.
That's nice. It's too bad we could have played the pick 3 because Baffert had a first-time starter. Win. That was a pretty strong lock. We probably could have got involved with too.
We talked about it. I don't know if he made that play, but I made that suggestion to listeners that horse that looked like a 2-5 on the tote might, if you got locked in a pick 4, or excuse me, a pick 3, especially beating the other favorites. The idea was it might pay a little bit more. Matt did a little rough pool math, and I think came up with the idea that Baffert cinch paid about 4-5 in the pick 3 as opposed to 2-5 or whatever it was on the tote. But that's how we're going to do that.
It's a good point. I wanted to pop up. Good point about that almost track record. Yes. I don't know if they're running 5 very much at Aqueduct. So
no, that's right. But it's that's a great point. Brings it into perspective. I'd love to know how many are in that sample. But that's always, this is one of the reasons why you don't want to look at raw times. You want to look at figures. But let's go to Matt Dinnerman with the call here of Monmouth's 7th race. I think he's on mute, AJ, if you can unmute him.
From the 13 hole, getting to the rail, and establishes a clear lead going into the turn. 6 whips, a length and a half in front of Get Back Goldie and Fatima's Blessing. They're second and third, gliding a fleet in the 4th position. Triple Start is next in the field, and having to steady there was gliding a fleet who drifted outwards. Eddie the Great also had to tap on the brakes as they approached the backstretch. Graded on a curve coming back to him. He's racing in midfield. He's running 5 lengths off the pace, another 2 to Reckless Place. Click a tat to the inside. Copo de Oro third last. Venezuelan Triumph as one runner beat. That's Candy Kingdom at the rear. There's a half mile to go. 6 whips is paving the way by a touch more than a length. And Get Back Goldie is right behind, chasing second. Triple Start getting closer, a joint second to the turn. Fatima's Blessing alongside, and a 3-deep gliding a fleet as they start to pick up the pace around the forward turn. Eddie the Great is shaken up. He's 5 lengths off the lead with Graded on a curve, who's saving ground. Will need racing room as they start to pack up on the front end. Many chances here. Get Back Goldie turns for home in front. 6 whips has had enough. Copo de Oro and Joe Bravo are coming on the scene, and so is Fatima's Blessing and Paco Lopez looking to split horses here. Outside, Graded on a curve's coming with a late run. Get Back Goldie's still in front. Here comes Graded on a curve trying to tag her late. It's going to be tied. Photo finish. Another photo finish. Graded on a curve. And Get Back Goldie hit the line together with Fatima's Blessing. And
I got to tell you,
third and fourth.
I'm starting to get kind of nasty on these live streams.
I know, it's pretty amazing. Though I think you just miss here, right?
I can't tell you. I can't. Let's see.
I think you just miss here. I think it's a tough beat. But yeah, you've been en fuego, my friend. It's a beautiful thing.
Let's see.
Let's see if we can see if this white bridle can just get the nose down.
Oh, I think I got the bob. I might have missed the mirror though. Let's see.
It's hard to see from that angle. It's hard to see on that. Chris Couples thought you got there.
It was going so much better than the other horse.
Yeah, I mean you had all the momentum. This angle's no help. I mean on that it looked like you won, but that's not a straight angle. But yeah, you do stick your nose out at close to the right time. We'll leave it for the judge. That's always the safest thing to do. You know, you don't get any extra compensation for calling it live. I not something I do on broadcast. When my broadcast partner asks me, often I will venture a guess. But you know, the last thing I want to do is jinx people. It was the 12.
Yeah, they posted it the 12.
Yeah, okay. It was a tricky angle. It was hard to see, but good pick anyway. And that's the best you can do. So one thing I didn't realize when we put this live stream together, JK, was that we were going to be on against the Italy match. As someone who has married into an Italian family, are they soccer nuts like most Italians are?
No. Duke basketball and Duke basketball and food. That's about all that matters.
I mean, food is a good that's a good alternative, but that's interesting. Okay, yeah, they're I definitely have one eye on that. If I start screaming that Italy probably scored. They are playing Albania, so you would like to think that they would be able to win, but they did allow one goal. It's 2-1 Italy at the half, so I'm hoping for good things as far as that goes, but we shall see. So. Next up, there was a Naira race, but you know what? Maybe we won't worry about that as much. Let me see if our man Double D wants to join us to talk about these stakes races that we did on the other show. He has been at Monmouth a lot this meet, sometimes has some good institutional knowledge, and I'll send him the link and see if he wants to hop on, and we'll get his thoughts here as we reach the top of the hour. We got about 45 minutes left live, but that's just for us. Then we're going to want you to keep it locked here because for 2 hours during those 4 stakes races, Dan Torgman, Jessica Paquette, and a team of a whole bunch of people. They've got guests coming left, right, and center. They're all live at Monmouth, so they'll be capturing that energy on this Haskell Preview Day. That's super important because they're going to come back in 5 weeks, and a lot of these horses will be running back. So this is a good day to pay attention to, make a few bets. Sometimes on a day like this, JK, I'll pay extra attention. I'll bet. I'll force a couple of bets just because I know for me that's going to make me sharpen up my trip notes, just pay a lot more attention than if I'm just kind of casually watching a race. Is that something you'll do from time to time?
Yeah, I mean, I find myself on days when I'm on set. I've looked at the races. I got a day like today when I'm not on air. I looked at Naira basically based on what we did for the podcast stuff. So, but on a normal day, if I'm not on, I'll try to take a little bit of a break unless I was going to bet back or something. And then yeah, I mean, when you're on, sometimes it just makes a little bit of sense if you're watching to be involved.
Absolutely, never a bad idea. While we wait for him, why don't we take a quick look at this next race at Naira? Is because it's one of the ones that we did anyway. Actually, as I say that, I think I heard the arrival of Double D, though he doesn't have his camera on yet. Double, if you can hear me, pop your camera on. We want to see you there in all your glory. There we go. There's the man.
Oh, two beautiful faces. Look at this.
Where are you? Are you at the track, buddy?
I'm at Monmouth. Yes, sir.
Excellent. Can you turn your camera to the side so you can fill up the screen for us?
Turn it to the side.
Yeah, just turn it to the side. You've got it. That's it.
All right.
Excellent.
I'm not a professional like you two guys. I'm a little green.
You have a lot of podcast experience, but I guess it's usually not with video. But we appreciate you rolling with the punches today, giving us a little bit of that local flavor. I assume you looked at these stakes races. We did a whole other show about them, and we'll reiterate our thoughts some, but we did want to get your thoughts, Double, and we'll hear people in the comments giving their thoughts on races 9 through 12 today, this pick 4 that closes off the card. You prepared to talk about that with us, Double?
I'm prepared to talk about it.
Let's do it. Well, why don't we start with race number 9, the Eatontown. This was a race where Jonathan and I were both very much with Sacred Wish, the one runner, Kendrick Carmouche, a jockey I know you like as well, Double. We do have some scratches in here. You can take out the 3, 4, and the 5. That will take out some of the pace, which is part of the reason why I like Sacred Wish. I just think she's going to be able to get like a good position, top third of the field, and then save some ground, swing out in the lane, and come run by them all. That's the one that Jonathan and I like the best. Who did you like in here, Double?
I agree with both of these. I was just taking a shot. The horses' numbers aren't as good or a little slow. I was going to take a shot with Mama June, Chad Brown. I like the last 2 races. Like I said, the numbers are a little slower than Sacred Wish. I know Sacred Wish has back class. That's, I think, your friend's horse, Jake Batless, if I'm correct.
Yep, that's right. Jake's involved. Yep.
That horse was really nice last year. Dirt horse now transformed to the turf. It's going to get an inside trip. I don't know if Caramouche is going to make the lead or Bravo. I wasn't sure which one of them was going to go, but I agree. That's the best horse, Sacred Wish. That would be my second choice. But I like Mamon June, the Ireland bred Chad Brown. Sacred Wish would be my second choice. Get an inside trip. You got Caramouche coming over. Probably will be on the lead or sitting second to Spirit and Glory. So I'm going to go 9, 1, 6, but I like Chad Brown and maybe 5-1 to light up the board.
What do you think of that Maman June, JK? Certainly looks like a progressive type, excellent breeding. Obviously, Chad Brown needs no introduction. Could she be ready for her close-up? I was only a little bit concerned about her being very far back on a turf course where you can't always come from the clouds like that. But she would probably be my main danger, honestly, in a lot of ways to Sacred Wish. How do you rate her?
Yeah, no, I mean, she's legit. I mean, her last 2 wins and, Chad running her down at Tampa and then coming back in the allowance race at Monmouth. Look, she makes nothing but sense here. But the problem is, to me, is that, she comes from out of it. So she's going to be a little compromised from time to time because of that. And look, I just think that Sacred Wish in her last race, I think they found out something about her that they kind of probably always knew. Man, when she can be aggressively ridden on the front end, she's a different animal. And you look at her Coaching Club American Oaks, where she barely lost to wet paint after making the lead on the dirt, going 1 mile and 1/8 in a grade 1. And then last time that wire to wire with Kendrick. Kendrick's going to be aggressive from the inside. He's going to get his position moving forward. He's going to dare someone to go faster than him. Then they're going to take back, and Sacred Wish is going to be sitting on her own while the horse that you guys are talking about, Mama June, is going to be trying to weave in between horses, circling wide, and she might run her down. But, I'm a Sacred Wish guy myself on this spot.
That's interesting. You think she's going to be on the front end. I mean, to me, the 8 and the 6 have pace figures that suggest that they might just be faster than her early. And it's not like Sacred Wish needs lead. I mean, I love the idea of her being forwardly placed, but I don't want to necessarily see her on the engine in this spot. Though, hey, I'm sure if Kendrick puts her there, I'm not going to be complaining either. But are you pretty confident she's going to be on the lead, Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, Fergal's going to grab, right? I mean, I don't. He's not going to look. I said Kendrick is. Everyone thinks Kendrick's a speed rider, and he's not. He is an aggressive rider who gets his position moving forward, but he can do everything. What's going to happen? I see this very well. I could be wrong. Kendrick's going to pop away from there. He's going to shake the reins at her, and he's going to make everyone else, if they want to be in front of her, are going to start to have to really reach deep into their bag of bravery to get in front of him. And at that point, they're going to take back, and he's going to still be there on the inside, and he's going to inherit the lead on the front end. From the inside rail, I feel very confident he'll find the lead.
What do you think pace-wise in there, Double? Are you with Jonathan, the idea that Sacred Wish could be on the front end, or do you think maybe one of those others I was mentioning is going to make the front?
No, Caramouche is sending. They might have found a different, like JK said, this horse might be a little better on the lead. Now, Bravo's horse with Falcone. I mean, what is Bravo going to do? Is he going to just let Caramouche go? Is he gone and Caramouche sits? So I would say JK probably has a good point. But I'm just taking a shot with the Chad Brown. I know the horse comes from far back. It's just a shot at the price. But I like your guy's horse second, Sacred Wish. So I'm about 9-1. In the pick 4. I'm going to use a few in there, and then I'll give you my whole pick 4 play before we wrap it up.
Oh, definitely. We have time for that. We're going to go to this race at Belmont next. AJ, if you want to pull that up real quick. You're Johnny on the spot. He's all ready. I will just say before we leave the Eatontown, the other Chad Brown would be the other one I would consider in there. Stop me if you've heard this. The other Chad Brown chance to get the job done. I just like the way Tax Implication 7 runner has finished up races too, and is another one I could see being positioned in front of the 9. I wouldn't hate having all 3 of those in some configuration or another. Let's very quickly touch on this race at Belmont. It's race number 8 we've got coming up. We did this one on the show. Don't worry, Double. I didn't prep you for this, so I'm not expecting you to have to come here with a pick. I was super boring. I like the favorite, JK, who's been on fire on the shows, made a strong case for the 12 runner when we had talked about this on the show. Is that still the way that you're leaning, JK?
Yeah, I like when a horse draws towards the outside with speed. I just feel like so many good things can happen from out there. When you're drawing inside, a lot of negative things can happen. And the horse is fast enough. You get Ricardo Santana, who is very similar to Kendrick, right? Gets his position moving forward. And for me, he's going to pop away from there. And by the time they get into the first turn, Ricardo will be in either on the rail on the lead or be in the 2 path. And at the worst, will be in the 3 path, but won't be getting stopped. We'll be able to kind of run a little bit around there. And I think it's a very comfortable spot for him. The horse is improving, lifetime best in the last 2 starts, going the right direction. So that's all I need in here is the 12. If somebody else beats me, then, that's just going to have to happen.
I know you, Double. You may have looked at this. Again, I didn't prep you, so punt if you didn't. But do you have a quick thought on this Belmont race?
You don't have to prep me. I look at Belmont like a scientist every day.
Well, who's going to win?
No, the 12 JK's right. This horse has to go. But from the 12, if he doesn't clear it, we got a problem. So Pistol Pete, I'm going to have to agree with you with the 10. I know JK's hot. I'm going to try to stay hot. I like 10-12. I love the 10 here. Christopher, come on.
What an agreeable guest. He's with both of us, Jonathan. Chris Couples is getting involved. And this is a tactic that I don't mind at all. Going to play the 10, he says, with an exacta backup with the 12 over the 10. That concept of exacta as place, that's something that Mike Maloney writes about extensively in his book, Betting with an Edge, a way to, some people would maybe try to play both the 10 and the 12. Well, at that point, you're pushing yourself into an odds-on proposition. Your risk reward can get out of whack. But if there's really just one horse you're worried about, you play that horse over your horse, and you have a chance to spend a fraction of the money and win a lot more than you would have on that double win bet. So, Chris, I definitely admire that strategy. Speaking of contests, we are here to cover this horse tourneys event, which is following along at Monmouth, people trying to win into the $500 Haskell betting challenge, an event that I would be fairly sure Double D will be playing in, and probably JK too if you happen to be working. Do you know Haskell Day? Are you going to be in Saratoga? Or are they going to send you down there, Jonathan?
No, I think we're going to have it, but I think we'll all be in Saratoga. Yeah, I think we'll all be in Saratoga.
No, that makes sense. Obviously, Saratoga. I'll be out on the West Coast that weekend following along. That's one of my 2 Del Mar weekends this summer as we get ready to go to Frank Miramati, this time with the call.
And they're up. Marco T breaks with.
I lied. It's not Frank Miramati. He's at Santa Anita for closing weekend.
Outside, Active Congress in the early mix, and Stolen Futures trying to split rivals and join the early fray. Rosie Byrne is right there. At the rail, Supers, Lucky Lady 4 across the course. Mim is there in 5th as Marco T broke on top, but is now back to 6th. Is followed to the outside by Capital Gal, who will track from 7th, and 8th is going to be Graham. Second to last is Unicorn Cake with the trailer. Quick power nap as they get set to work into the far turn. 22 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile. Active Congress is now well clear, and Active Congress is doing it nicely for Ricardo Centena Jr. is 2 lengths in front. Supers Lucky Lady is in pursuit towards the inside with Rosie Byrne. Also ranging up on the outside is Stolen Future, and now Stolen Future is only 2.5 off the leaders as they get set to reach the top of the lane. Active Congress is trying to get away. It's Active Congress, Supers Lucky Lady still in pursuit. Stolen Future. Marco T is now in the clear. Here comes Marco T on the grandstand side, and from far out of it, Quick Power Nap is rolling late as well. It is now Marco T to the outside. Quick Power Nap is rolling late. Stolen Future is right there as well. Marco T will get the victory. Marco T gets a Quick Power Nap from all the way at the back of the field. Will grab second over Stolen Future. It's a photo for 4th in 1 minute 9 and 3.
Apologies to Chris Griffin, who, of course, was calling that race. I assume is Frank out in California, maybe finishing off their last few days. This, to me, just my first thought on it was the real difference between the subtle differences in turf sprint distances and the way races play out. It's much harder to make that move going 5, 5.5. The 6 that they're running here at Belmont at the Big A felt like certainly the reason that the 10 runner Marco T was able to win as easily as that. Do you think that's fair to say, Jonathan, that the distance really played into that one's hands at that point?
No, I think this horse has won in an aggressive fashion from going 6. I mean, yes, your point is right. Yes, you have to pay attention between the 5.5 and the 6. But I mean, I think the layoff probably just caught that horse there, and you know, I wouldn't change anything. I would prefer the horse be ridden that way than be rated and then hope to be able to find. I prefer let's try to run them off their feet. So I think next time will be the time. Let's see. Yeah, I would imagine that horse will be running hopefully at Saratoga, cutting back to the 5.5, second off a layoff, and I'll be right there jumping on board again.
Yeah, I think that's a good note, Jonathan, that the shorter distance might suit. Active Congress one to put in the old horse tracker for us. We got a good question, actually. Let's do this good question from the audience, and then let's get back to the pick 4 and then double. We won't keep you here all afternoon, but I do want your thoughts on this because we had what I thought was a pretty entertaining conversation last week about the Belmont Stakes double. You and me on the Larry Roman podcast, and Silver Charm, which is a great name, chimes in thanking us for the Triple Crown coverage this year. We thank you, Silver Charm, for paying attention. By the way, if you're out there, if you're new here, if you're somebody following us through the America's Best Racing channels, do us a favor, keep watching on there, but go ahead and subscribe to our In the Money Media YouTube channel. We're making a big push for 10,000 subscribers on there. But Charm's question is, or observation is, looking forward to see what happens with Mindframe and his development, being pretty impressed with what he did in only his 3rd start. And I think that's an optimistic and correct way of looking at things. I mean, obviously the horse looked like winning, and we all would have been better off financially had not been for the jinking and the stretch, and had the horse been able to stay straight. But Double, I'll start with you. Did Mindframe lose or gain in your eyes with his run in the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga?
He definitely gained. I mean, that was only his 3rd start. He was going a distance of, what was it, 1.25 miles?
It was.
The only thing that bothered me a little, maybe you guys will agree or disagree, I thought Irad was hitting him lefty and he kept drifting out. If he kept hitting him righty, he could have made the difference. I don't know if I'm right about that, but the horse was getting tired, and speed was great that day. Dormac, they did what I heard. I told you on the show. I heard they were sending him going right after the one, which I was correct.
Yep.
Mindframe will be a better horse going down the road, and also Chad Brown saw Sino Lenore. That horse is a decent horse, but came from too far back on a speed track that day. So I think Mindframe will be the better 3-year-old down the road.
I think that's a reasonable point. How do you see it after the race? I didn't quite ask you in this blunt of a fashion, Jonathan. I mean, were you, because you needed him to win, were you disappointed, or like Double and I are saying, did he almost gain in your estimation with how close he came to putting up the Tour de Force performance we were looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that he's going to be tough whether he shows up in the Travers or the Haskell. I would assume the Travers for him, the Haskell, or maybe the Jim Dandy, and the Haskell for fierceness. Yeah, I mean, Irad, I think he probably learned a little bit a lesson about a horse that had only run twice. He hit him left-handed and he ducked out, and he corrected him, and it was just too late when he corrected him. So I thought he ran extremely well. I thought he lost nothing in defeat, and only kind of marked himself as a tough horse moving forward.
Let's talk about the next race, not this upcoming race, but the next race in the sequence at Monmouth, the 3-year-old stakes, the Naira Betts Pegasus Stakes, not to be confused with the other Pegasus Stakes, another one we yapped about on the show the other day. You can take out the 2 and the 6 in here, leaving us with just a field of 6. And as we did before, Double, we'll start the conversation by getting your thoughts.
All right. This race, this is my best bet of the day. Hades, Joe Orsino, Paco. Reason being is the horse at the beginning of the year was cut out to be a nice, real good 3-year-old, win the Holy Bull. Came back against the Gorilla that day in the Florida Derby against Fierceness, had no chance, rough trip. Then ran in the Lexington, not the greatest trips. I heard the horse had a little bit of an issue. He's been working real well. There is really no speed in the race. If you look at the race thoroughly, the only person that could send would be Pletcher on the inside, Tuscan side. He has blinkers and he's fresh. If Paco gets to the lead clear or just stalks, I think lights out, party over, you get 5-2. I love Hades today. I think this is an absolute lollipop.
Wow, a lot. You're going lollipop on Hades despite this some of the tough opposition in this field. I like it. A horse, I'm not sure that C Streak is going to be in front of Hades. I mean, I think you make a good point about Hades being forward. I do think C Streak is going to be close to him and has an opportunity to give him kind of a hard time. I love the way he was finishing up. We're dealing with a hot barn here. What do you think, JK? Are you persuaded at all by Double's case for Hades being one to put on some tickets in this spot? Did we stick you on mute? Or did we lose you? We lost JK for a second. We'll get him back and figure that out. For me, I mean, I love the confidence. Anytime I'm hearing you say lollipop, Double, I'm definitely interested in taking another look at the race and potentially finding a way to use that one. But are you across this race, this next race at Monmouth, this race number 8? We did not talk about it on the show, but it feels like since it's going to be a live race we can cover, we might as well talk about it. Do you have anything going with this one?
I didn't bet anything, but if you want me to give you a little pick, I was going to take a little chance with the bottom horse here. Soft Stir. It's Paco.
Yep.
Yeah, he's dropping down from 12.5 to 7,500. There's a lot of gas. Maybe he stalks outside, sweeps the field. We get 3-1. Looks like 2 minutes to post at Monmouth. So I lean to the 8 a little bit. This is a very difficult race, but 3-1 entices me with Paco.
I thought that the 5 and the 8 were both interesting to come running in a race where I do think there is plenty of pace. So I might just start some doubles here, playing the 5 and the 8 into Sacred Wish in the next race and just see if I can get alive to her in a nice way in that one. So that's my idea. Feel free, if you're watching along in the comments, to let us know who you've got in this race at Monmouth. We'll wait and try to get JK back. I see him in the green room, JK, but I don't see a camera for you, but we'll bring you back when we have a chance. And in the meantime, we've got 2 minutes to this race at Monmouth, so it really might mean 3 or 4. So with that in mind, Double, let's go ahead and look at the third of the 4 stakes races today. We've talked about the first 2, the Grade 3 Monmouth Stakes going 1 mile and an eighth on the turf. Curious to know who you came up with in that one.
Pistol Pete, this race I really like also. 1 mile and eighth on the turf. If you really look at this race thoroughly, there's absolutely no speed. I'm going to take a shot with Running B. I like Chad Brown outside. This kid's a good little rider. This Chaminade guy, he rides the turf exceptionally down here. I've been watching him for a few weeks at Monmouth. I like the way he rides. There's no speed, or maybe even if 20 Point went, but I like 9-8. I think Running B could wide a field or stalk. You get a square 7-2. I hate to keep chasing Chad Brown all day, but if I can get a price with him down in Monmouth, I'm going to take my chance. So,
I mean, there's worse guys to chase, right? I mean, he wins.
All about, yeah, worst guys to chase. I'm all about 9-8, and then a couple other horses in the pick 4 as a back, but I like 9-8 this race, especially the 9.
Well, tell us. We have a minute. Tell us who you want to use as your backups in there, and then JK and I will opine.
I was going to use, in a spread tickets, I have a single lead. I was going to use 9-8, 2-4-5, only because I have a single in the following race. So, I had like a 4x4x4x1, which isn't a lot of money for 50 cents for the guys that just want to follow along. But Running B, I think, is a solid bet. 7-2, 4-1.
Yeah, we'll have you give that whole ticket on the show, JK. We were talking up. I think it was the 2 and the 9 here. We were very similar, if I'm remembering that right. And then you liked somebody else in this race. Did you make the Adamo case? I'm trying to remember who else you liked in race 11 at Monmouth.
Seizure Boston. Yeah, no, I like Seizure Boston for Jimmy Toner. I've got no problem. With Running B. I don't have a problem with Beatbox, but my top choice in there is Siege of Boston.
I'm not sure when we lost you. Did you hear the case that Double made for Hades in the previous race? He was pretty confident in that selection, not one that I had come up with. I was curious what you made of Hades in the previous race.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the winner is either Hades, Domestic Product, or C Streak, but I actually preferred Domestic Product. I think there was 2 horses that had trouble in the Kentucky Derby, and one of them just won the Belmont Stakes. The other one was Domestic Product. So I feel like, at a bad trip, was a buzz horse going into that, had been training well with Sierra Leone. I think some people even thought training better than Sierra Leone. Threw a shoe in that Derby and now shows up here. So Domestic Product will be my top choice. I'll use C Streak. I'll use Hades. But those are the 2 that I like the most.
All right. As we continue to jump all over the shop, let's put up this. We'll pull up this Monmouth race number 8 that's about to go. Double and I were talking about pace angles in here, and I'm going to play doubles with the 5 and the 8, hoping the pace is fast into Sacred Wish in the next one. Wasn't sure if you had a chance to look at this 8th race, JK, but if you did, feel free to throw up a selection real quick.
Yeah, it's funny is when we did the show, yesterday, I thought that I had to look at this race, so I actually wrote it down. I'm just trying to find it. This is the 8th, right?
Up, we're loading.
147. I had it 147. I guess the 7 I think is interesting. I'll take the 7.
So we're completely oppo here. Somebody's got to be right. Either it'll be Double and me, or it'll be JK. JK riding the hot hand at the moment, but maybe Double and I can get going here, and we'll get some doubles going to Sacred Wish if everything works out according to plan. Looks like they're just about loaded. Let's send it to Matt Dinnerman with the call at beautiful Monmouth Park.
There. We're ready to go. And they're off. Softer leapt in the air at the start and drops to the back. Derby Gift from the pack shoots away to a 2-length advantage early. Capture this, and Army of Thought side by side with Castellana right with that group. And now Derby Gift gets taken a hold of, and the pace is now pretty modest here. And in fact, Derby Gift is being joined and passed by Army of Thoughts, who has the lead by about a half length here. Castellana makes her way into second, and Derby Gift has been taken back to third, wrangled back in that position. Softer joins her approach in the turn. There's a gap of 2.5 to capture this under pressure. Made Birdie had a steady hard one off of heels. Tavin alongside and is passed and was within 6 lengths of the lead. And Bucanera has been out sprinted. She did not run her best race today as they approach the top of the stretch. Castellana with a quarter mile more to go claims the lead here. Army of Thoughts could not keep up. And Founders in second as Castellana leads off the turn. In the second spot, Army of Thoughts is calling it an afternoon, plummeting back, softer into the second position. Made Birdie, look at this run from Made Birdie. She had to check on the turn. How much the best is she? She's going to run by the competition to win it. Made Birdie, and coming back is Tavin. Oh, it got tight. Made Birdie, it looked like she had it. And Tavin came with a late surge. Another photo finish here at Monmouth Park.
The Brits have a nice phrase for a race like that. Not a race that will live long in the memory, they might say. Ugly looking form is what I'm going to call it. Who gets, first and foremost, who gets this photo? Did the two manage to hang on, or did this horse come back and to deny the two right on the wire? Who wins, Double?
Hold on, I'm watching. 1 second.
I'm calling it outside horse.
I'm calling outside.
Okay, so we both think the two, which is very disappointing because between the three of us, we used 5 horses in the race, and that means we don't win. But
That's why I'm broke.
It was very strange with the. What'd you think? I'll try to bait you here, JK. What'd you think of the ride on the 4?
Well, I mean, the horse is 18-1, so I don't want to knock the guy or gal riding. I didn't see who the rider was, but I mean, I don't know why you would give up that position. Maybe the horse maybe the horse kind of did that
the lead
themselves.
easily. It doesn't look fast, and you grab and wrangle the horse back. I mean, what are we even doing here? That's
I sure hope that wasn't what happened, but you never know.
It sure looked like it to me. But in any case, very, very strange race. Probably the less said about it, the better, especially with all this exciting stuff that we've got going on. So we'll wait to confirm the result, but everybody seems to think it's the 2. So probably not a whole lot of drama there. Double, we have one more race to get your opinion on. We're going to have you give us your pick ticket, and then we're going to get ready. We'll have about 15 more minutes. If you got questions, folks out there, we can talk about that. But for the time being, I'll come back to this if it's a surprise result, but I don't think it will be. Let's quickly talk about the Grade 3 Salvatore Mile. This field held together. We've got a field of 8 going postward. There is an even money favorite in the form of Bright Future, but this is an even money favorite that I at least was going to attempt to maybe try to beat. Jonathan was going to try to get out of here with the 2 and the 3. How did you see this nightcap at Monmouth, today's Grade 3 Salvatore Mile? Double.
I think Bright Future's the horse to beat. Obviously, you don't want to take 3 to 5. I mean, look at the class. This horse is running against the Breeders' Cup class and the Jockey Cup Gold Cup. Fletcher, fresh, ready to go. Horses are starting to run a little better. He won a race with a baby today at Aqueduct, Belmont at the Big A. I just think this is the goods. The 2's the goods. My second choice in the race, it's a bomb, was going to be the 6, Mole Visitor. Maybe a little cheaper, but he is the speed with a speed rider. Caramouche. There's really not a lot of gas. I don't know if this horse is good enough coming from Parks. And then I was going to use for the pick 4, the pick superfectors. I'm sorry. I was going to use JK Sauce, Chad Brown again, Arturius, and the 1. So it'd be about 2 over 1, 3, 6. But I like the 2 the best. Maybe the 6 for a bomb, but being the only speed. But I think this is about the Godfather, Todd Pletcher.
The Godfather, I love that. Give us your pick 4 ticket, Double, and then we'll kick you and let you enjoy the rest of your day down there on the Jersey Shore, and we'll wrap things up here. But I did want to give you a chance to give out that full ticket for people who are interested.
This is going to be a cheap ticket for the listeners, a 50-cent pick 4. The spread is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm not going to single Hades, but I like 2 horses in there, 5, 8. So we'll go 6, 7, 8, 9 with 5, 8. With 2, 4, 5, 8, 9, and we're going to single Pletcher. It's a very cheap ticket, but I think you could hit it a couple times and get paid.
All right. I love it. Double. Appreciate having you on. Love the local flavor. Have a great rest of your afternoon down there, and we'll probably have you on a Monmouth show very soon. I'm traveling. We may have Mike Probozzi host you next week talking about Monmouth, but it's been fun having you on these shows, and we look forward to continuing.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me on. I wish you a good day and good luck and make money.
If we're your definition of gentleman, you got another thing coming. But we do appreciate you, brother. We'll be talking soon.
God bless you. Have a good day.
Cheers, Double. always fun catching up with our buddy there. They still haven't called this photo at Monmouth for whatever it's worth, Jonathan. It's getting into the territory where I feel like, is there some world in which it's a dead heat? It says unofficial dead heat. Look at that. But it doesn't, weirdly, it's not confirming that it's a dead heat for first. They don't have, they're blinking it now. Now they took it down again. I don't know what our graphics people are doing to us down there at Monmouth, but we'll get it sorted out soon. But I think there's a world in which this 5 actually got a share of it, which it sure did not look like. And now maybe they decided they were just kidding because they're only showing the 2 made birdie who made that wild run from off the pace and looked like going, but like by the 5, like standing still. But anyway, we'll wait for some confirmation.
They're showing the 5 now. The 5's about to go in.
Okay, it is. We do think it's a double heat, a dead heat after all. That's good. So at least I have my double alive. Won't be paying all that much, but hopefully Sacred Wish can get the job done and we'll be okay in that spot. So yeah, we got a few more minutes left if anybody has any questions for us, but otherwise, JK, we can just take the conversation wherever the heck we want it to go. We got the contest today at Monmouth. Maybe another cool thing we can do, AJ, is do one more leaderboard update. That'll be, once this goes official, we can do another leaderboard update of that one. We got this Haskell challenge coming up in a few weeks. Other contest activity going on as well. Our friends at Santa Anita have a closing day challenge tomorrow that folks may want to check out. There it is, official. No, it's still unofficial, but it's going to soon be made official. 5-2 dead heating there down on the Jersey Shore. But what are you looking forward to contest wise? Anything, Jonathan, or these days are you you're keeping the powder dry till Breeders' Cup betting challenge time?
Well, I mean, obviously, Breeders' Cup betting challenge is the big one. I zig and zag through contests just for obvious reasons. And so, yeah, I mean, I prefer more of the kind of big money, big prize pool, lots of people participating and heavy BCBC stuff. So, I know that there'll probably be some stuff, this summer, like you said, the Haskell one's coming up, and then we'll have some at Naira as well. So, yeah, no, I have nothing on the agenda as of now that I can think of, but, I'm always down to be surprised of a contest coming around the corner.
All right, we have a good question from the audience, and this is funny because we talked about this horse a little bit early in the show. Who is my favorite horse and why? It's a classic. Usually when you ask people this question, who's your favorite horse, the answer is, and I'll try to do the screen share here, the answer is the horse that got you into the game. And for me, that is most certainly the case. And for me, that horse is Silver Charm. And 1997 was really the first year that I got wildly into racing. I had followed before and enjoyed racing before, but that was the first year I got really into the handicapping side. And I love this horse from the springtime. And one of my favorite parts about the Silver Charm story is we weren't dating at the time, but I had met a woman at a party that spring who was going to the Derby. I was going to be watching from farther away and from New York, actually from Aqueduct. And as a result, I was so excited when she told me she was going, and with the idea that I even could give her this horse to bet. Long story short, the horse was Silver Charm, and the woman became my girlfriend and eventually my wife, Susan. So clearly a very important horse in my development. And then years later at Old Friends, had an opportunity to meet him, and I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to share a file here. And I'm struggling, of course, because it's a lot. We're doing a live stream, and I don't have the opportunity to ask AJ what the easiest way to do this is. What's the easiest way? Do you have an idea, JK, how I have a JPEG open. How do I share it or send it to AJ easily?
I would hit present on the stream where it says StreamYard, and then you can either share screen, maybe.
I know how to share a tab. I don't know how to share a file on the computer. but here's a share entire screen. No, it's not. It's not being obvious to me. I think I just figured out a workaround that I'm going to do, though, where I can send it to AJ. AJ, I'm going to email you a picture that I want you to show. But in the meantime, why don't I bounce that question to you? And this is a hard one for you, Jonathan, knowing the various horses that are on your body. If I made you pick one and made you give me a reason, what would that be?
Yeah, but I can't pick one. It's got to be both of them. Well, I mean, I have a lot.
I tried to hold your feet to the fire, but I don't blame you.
I really do have a lot. I mean, I'll give you kind of the honorable mentions. Giacomo was when people ask me like my story in racing, he was the horse that I bet 5 across the board on when I was in college, and that led to me buying the keg beer that afternoon, and then also buying 3 handicapping books that really let me get deep into this game. Champagne Doro was 40-1 when I was at the Belmont, which led to a Belmont Stakes pick 4 score that was $84,000 that really allowed me to kind of help cut my teeth when I was coaching and making not that much a year. She was involved there, and that was a big one. But I would think the 2 most influential ones for me in terms of just like really reaching and pulling at my heartstrings were Zenyatta and Rachel. Zenyatta just, from her 19 straight wins and that I remember when she got beat by Blame, I like fell to I literally like melted to the ground, like knees like kind of buckled, and I was in my living room and kind of like, maybe it was dramatic, but fell backwards.
Sounds like me and Pharaoh. It happens.
Just the journey that she took me on and the emotional journey she took me on. And every race she was in, she looked like she was beat, and then she came and she won. And then Rachel, the first time I ever stepped foot in the Churchill Downs was her Super Philly You Betcha 20-length victory in the Kentucky Oaks. And then her Preakness, and then her Mother Goose, her Haskell, and then on to her Woodward, where she beat the boys. She was indeed Rachel Alexander the Great. Those 2, it's hard for me to separate them. They're both tattooed on my arm. But I guess I should also give honorable mention to Barbaro, who's on the inside of my arm, and Palace Malice, a little bit of an obscure one, but the only horse the only Triple Crown horse that my father and I got to see together live at Belmont Park when he won in 2012.
It's a good list, man. That's a good list. And I think I finally figured this out. Let me see if I can do it. AJ, you can bail me out if this didn't work, but let me, I can scroll from one of our old friend visits the other year. I like that snazzy Del Mar Breeders' Cup hat. I gotta find where that is. But yeah, that was great fun getting to go and meet him at Old Friends Farm, where he still resides, and getting to meet Little Silver Charm as well, which was also a hoot. That is a whole funny story. Is that you sharing that, AJ, now, or me? Okay. I thought I stopped sharing and then I still saw it, so I got a little bit confused there. We got 1 minute for this Belmont race. We might as well show that, AJ, if you feel like getting that put up. Meanwhile, we do have a couple other people chiming in. Brick, who asked the question, Easy Goer for him. That's an easy one. Big picture of Easy Goer hanging up in the house in Saratoga. That was a gift from my friend, the late, great Carrie Photius, who folks might remember from his Equiform product and also the book Blinkers Off. And then Gene, our buddy Gene, also Team Zenyatta. Can't blame you for that one. Good stuff here as we head into race number 9 at Belmont. We've had some chalky results. Jonathan, will it be another chalky result here? You are stuck on mute if you're talking.
Bam. I like the one for Chad. I think it was the horse I picked on the show.
Yep.
Just looks like one that will take another step forward. Ran well at Keeneland, ran well in the comeback in New York, and just feels like one that you want to take into consideration. Drawn towards the inside as well. I think Chad's horses run well down there. They get cover, and they're so responsive to their riders that I think they can get out of jams down on the inside.
Yeah, that is an interesting point about the way they train. They often can get very in tune with the riders. It's not an all-out move. They're usually cruising around on the bridle, listening, ears flicking around, listening to riders' instructions. That type of ride could make that one very tough. I thought Duden, Colorado, the 9 was interesting in this spot. 4-1, I think, is a decent price on this one. Who Mike Maker, stop me if you've heard this one. Mike Maker seems to have a pretty good read on based on the improvement, or at least a very good race last time. I don't know how much improvement it was over only being beaten 2 in the grade 3, but I thought that was an interesting potential alternative. I certainly respect the favorite. I wouldn't count out the X Maker, now in the hands of Rick Dutrow, either. The number 4 Ocean Atlantique. Feel pretty good putting the 3 of them in some doubles potentially moving forward, heading into that Bed of Roses stakes, where I think we both like Big Pond in that Bed of Roses if you want to play some doubles here. Am I right in that? Is that the one you had on top in there, Jonathan?
Yeah, no, I do like Big Pond. Big Pond for sure. There's a couple other ones in there too. That's a tough race.
Yeah, it's not easy.
The
Dean,
6.
One of us made a wise guy case for it that stuck with me in that race as well. But in terms of doubles, I think if I can get alive to Big Pond, then maybe I'll sort some other things out when we get there. Because obviously I'm kind of spready here I'm not doing anything too clever here, am I? Using the first 3 choices, but little action bet. See if we can keep things moving and grooving. Remember, just a couple of minutes time, we'll basically watch this race, and then we're going to hand over the reins to Dan and Jessica and the America's Best Races team. It's going to be a lot of fun to keep up with them as they cover the 4 stakes races we've been talking about. But we're going to show this Belmont race and come back, say a quick goodbye, and then we'll head over to them. Jonathan, Godspeed here. Let's see how it plays out at Belmont at the Big A.
All set. And they're off. Dude in Colorado gets the first call right to the front for Ramon Vasquez. Dude in Colorado, and here's Call Me Harry. Wants to join this leader. At the rail is going to be Magical Ways. Right next to Magical Ways is Bodie Cream. They're 3rd and 4th. Then comes Vacation Dance, who's trying to tuck in behind them. Sits there in the 5th position, very stacked up there towards the back end of the field. Then comes Ruse, who's now a challenging 5th. In between horses comes Ocean Atlantique as a shared 6 is moving forward. There goes Vacation Dance is 3 wide. Towards the back end of the field, Belluni. Then comes Conman, and the trailer is Peros. They work to the backstretch. Duden, Colorado is the leader. Easy, 23 and 4 for that opening quarter mile. It's Duden, Colorado, who's in front as well. Clears up by 3/4 of a length as Call Me Harry starts to move in closer. Bodie Cream is out in the center of the course. And out wider comes Vacation Dance, is now about to take that 4th position. Tight in between horses, Ocean Atlantique. Saving ground is Magical Ways is still right there, 48.57 for the half-mile time. Rallying on, here comes Belluni, and Belluni is now in the 7th spot, is right in behind that second grouping. Losing ground was Ruse, and from the back, Conman is trying to make a late rally with Peros as they get set to reach the top of the lane. All in now is Dude in Colorado. Right there is Call Me Harry, ready to challenge, tipping out wider. Belluni is now in the clear. It's now Call Me Harry who's ready to challenge. Belluni is catching with every single stride, and here comes Belluni. Down towards the inside, Magical Ways is rallying on. Ocean Atlantique is right there, but Belluni is now in front inside the final 16th and sprinting away. Belluni running up into 2nd is Ocean Atlantique. Belluni is your winner. Ocean Atlantique, then came Magical Ways, who grabs 3rd over Call Me Harry and Ruse in 1 minute 35 and 4.
That's it for us. Stay tuned for the ABR live stream at Monmouth. Thanks, JK. Thanks, Double D. Thanks to everybody for watching.